Okay, welcome to the OpenJ9 community call for October 14. If you haven't already, please add your name and company affiliation to the agenda. We'll start by asking if anyone has anything high priority they'd like to bring up right at the beginning. See, we have a lightning talk scheduled for October 28th on the non-volatile mapped byte buffers. Thanks, Mike and Toby, for setting that up. Taking a look at the end user issues. There's only one created since our last meeting related to a bug. If you're using option combination for xdump. So that would only occur if somebody made incorrect settings. So we've put that into the backlog to look at later. So a reminder about help wanted and beginner issues. If you have something that would be suitable for a beginner or something that somebody could help on, we encourage you to create an issue and set those labels and then let them sit and wait for somebody to pick them up. Looking at the download trends. Looks like there's been an uptick for hotspot, but OpenJ9 is continuing along the way it was. And there. Seems most versions are up for hotspot. A lot for Java 8. Okay, so about announcing releases and milestone builds, I created an announce channel in the OpenJ9 Slack just for release announcements. So if somebody wants to subscribe to that, they can get the release announcements without seeing all the chatter that goes on in the general channel. I'll continue to put the announcements into the general channel as well, but they'll also go into announce. So there was a request to do a release retrospective for the last release, but again, I don't think we have the people we want on this call, so we'll defer it. Looking at the 023 release, the upcoming release, which should happen next week. I believe the milestone is now empty of issues except for our regular open SSL reminder to check if there's been a new version released, which there hasn't as of yesterday. So we'll check again next week. So we're ready to release. The milestone 2 builds were created last week. I think there was 1 or 2 minor issues that went in since the milestone 2 builds, but I don't expect they're going to cause any problems. The builds look good last weekend. So we're just waiting for the OpenJDK update. All the links to the builds are here in the minutes. The next release, 024 release in January, we do have a milestone plan. I believe there's quite a few issues in it, so please take a look and help reduce those. 35 open issues, so lots to do there. I know some of them are in progress already. Okay, JIT server deployments. So are there any updates for that?
Not at this moment. So we'll have a meeting coming Tuesday about an end-to-end user story. So we'll update next week.
Yeah, I think that's in the any other business, the meeting.
Yeah, we should probably eventually deduplicate those two entries on the agenda, but yeah, it'll be taken care of next Tuesday.
Not sure I saw that before. Oh, there we go. So the next meeting is the 20th. Just update that. So do we have anyone to give us an adopt update? Any updates on machines? I think we do have a problem with a Windows machine. Adam? Oops.
Sorry, I missed that.
There's a problem with a Windows machine. The -5 Windows machine, there is an issue that I opened about it. I thought I disabled it, but I see it's trying to launch it itself. So maybe somehow it got undisabled.
It looks like it's marked offline. It is connecting. Anyway, I'll look at it.
Thanks. Yeah, if you can't track down the issue, I can find it. But we were just getting, it wasn't failing all the time, but it was failing fairly consistently. So I took it offline.
Oh, is that the cleanup one?
I don't remember at the moment. I'll have to find the issue and check. Yeah, I think it had to do with directory permissions. We either couldn't clean up the directory or it didn't have permission to the work directory and therefore it couldn't do anything. Okay, so that takes us to any other business, which we seem to have a lot of stuff in there. So are there any updates about OpenJDK method handles?
There are no new updates with respect to testing.
Yeah, just to be there, there's been a lot of discussion on the PRs for a lot of the implementation at being open. There was a discussion around a technical design point related to handle resolution, which has resulted in a small change in the design, which is going to be implemented. Expect that the testing will need to kick off shortly, but there's just a short delay while the rework for that review comment is being done. But it's on track to be done fairly soon.
Sounds good. Thank you. Devin, update on CMake?
I'm hunting down an issue with the seg fault on the Windows side. I think it's just a misconfiguration between the JIT and the VM code because a lot of the JIT code kind of assumes configuration values based on platform, and so it's likely I just kind of missed one of the configuration options for the VM there, and it's making wrong assumptions about things. And then still hammering away on some of the exhaust changes.
Okay, great. Thank you. So yeah, we seem to have like 3 sections related to the Helm and operator discussion in the minutes.
Yeah, it's being popular. It's kind of sort of spread itself around. So yeah, probably makes sense to consolidate them going forward. Keeping the agenda item, I think, is appropriate given the discussions that are still ongoing related to it.
I'll just highlight the next meeting. Do we have Daryl on today? So there's the deferring or the proposal to remove ARM32 support from OpenJ9, which maybe we'll discuss someday. Or given the lack of interest, maybe we should just go ahead and delete it. I don't know that anybody's responded in the issue and nobody has anything to say in the meetings, so maybe it's time to just get rid of it.
Yeah, I wonder if our meeting time is causing a problem. There seem to be a lot of people not making it these days. I don't know if we need to consider a different time, perhaps, that might be better for people. I hate to open that can of worms. It's just like there's a lot of people not here.
Yeah, there are also quite a few people on the call today. So Dan said he had a previous meeting that was running late. He did make it. Was it the week before last?
Oh, yeah.
Not sure what's happened to Shelley. I could try to contact her and see if she's going to be able to attend these in the future. It seems like people are continuing to join. They're just joining late.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, we just got Dan. So welcome, Dan.
The man, the myth, the legend arrives.
Thank you. Have you made it through the whole agenda at this point?
Not quite. We're down to the last two any other business items. So the second last one is the API doc automation, which I think Adam was working on. I know Adam was trying to get some new credentials added to the OpenJ9 Slack or OpenJ9 repo, and just needs to coordinate with Eclipse and justify adding a new credential. Anything else you want to mention, Adam?
Not really. So the purpose for that was just so we could do automated pushes to a functional ID fork and then open a pull request with the content. We could use the Genie bot ID probably, as long as they fork it for us. If not, we can use G9 build. But
okay, well, you can provide the details in the issue, and
yeah, I just
we'll work through
responded
that.
to them just before the meeting. So
Great, thank you. And then that brings us to the last thing, CAN OSP. I'm not sure who added that.
That's me. So CanOSP, we've got the group of 4 students still working on the profiling agent. I'm expecting in our weekly meeting this week we'll get a demo of the sort of first version of it working. It should have support for perf and several different kinds of JVM TI instrumentation. I'm gonna work on sort of getting them to build it out a little bit more, but if that goes well, I'll get in touch with Dan to try and set up a lightning talk where those students can present what they've been working on, because it's looking pretty cool.
Yep, you could do it for a lightning talk. You could pretty much add it to the minutes.
Okay, well, I'll do that then.
Any unused time slot? We don't already
Sounds
have
good.
one schedule. So Dan, just before you joined, I'm not sure if you heard we were mentioning ARM32. It's been deferred quite a few times because we don't have the people to discuss it in the meeting, but I don't think anybody's adding to the issue and nobody's showing up to discuss it. I was saying maybe it's time to just say, go ahead, let's delete it. Or nobody's showed up to show any interest, so.
I would support that. And I believe I've put comments to that effect in the issue in the past. So I will approach Daryl offline and just confirm that that he's still on board with that removal, and I think that makes sense to proceed.
Great, thank you. So we didn't get an update today, but I think some new people have joined. Was there anybody who joined who can give us an adopt update? Well, we're waiting for the OpenJDK update to occur next Tuesday, which usually occurs late in the day. So starting Tuesday evening or Wednesday morning, we'll get started on our next release, final builds. hopefully the adopt people will be ready to do that. Anybody else have anything else they want to bring up? If not, I'll call it. Thanks everyone for joining.
Thanks.
Thanks.